Welcome to a very relieved Clyde FC podcast brought to you by A State of Mind. I am Paul Shanks and I am back to discuss what has been a rollercoaster of a week in the life of Clyde Football Club, but when is it ever straightforward? Joining me tonight, I have Craig Black, Mr. Summertime himself, John Boyce.
Holiday mode.
Holiday mode indeed, Boycey. And returning after a wee bit of a sabbatical, Big G, Mr. Graham Murray. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good. I'm hearing nasty rumours you had hair at the start of this week.
I had hair at the start. No, I had hair at the start of the season, and I was slim. But I used to have a mullet, and I was like 14 stone. But that's gone after this season. So, but I'll get it back. Not the hair, maybe the figure, but not the hair.
You will not be the only one in that boat, I think, after this week. Gents, what a week it has been. We'll come back to yourself, Graham, as a returning guest. What's your overall thoughts after what we've been through?
Relief, obviously. I think that's just probably the underlying theme from all Clyde fans. Relief we managed, to get it done. Usual Clyde way, we didn't do it the easy way. However, based on the performance on Saturday and even last night, we maybe saved the best of last. When one thing that Mr. Lennon has got certainly in his locker is that when we need to win games, we generally tend to win those games. The big games, he's got a tremendous record with that. We'll talk about the performance later on, I'm sure. Okay, but it's just relief. I mean, I don't mind. Myself and my dad were there last night watching it, socially distanced, of course, but don't mind saying, when the Kings scored the goal later on in the evening, when the full time whistle went, we gave ourselves a kind of wee hug, okay. But if we get into trouble for it, we might get a wee slap on the wrist or a suspended fine. But I think it was worth it, just to make sure that we did what all Clyde fans should do and just celebrate it.
Yeah, you're going to get us in trouble, Graham. Any more of that chat? Boycey, how about yourself? I know we've discussed it at great length on WhatsApp, but 24 hours later, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, the build up to the game, it was just nerves. I'm sure every Clyde fan will empathise with that. When the game started, though, I felt this is our night. What a first 10 minutes. I'm watching the Champions League the night before. First 10 minutes, same thing. Are we watching Chelsea? Are we watching Clyde? I don't know. But yeah, after that, normality resumed. And yeah, just as Graham's mentioned, Danny got the boys right fired up for it. And, East Fife had nothing to play for and they just didn't want it. And we wanted it more. So yeah, delighted with the win and the fact that we get to just watch the playoffs fold out and, know that we're in League One. What more could you ask for?
Yeah, just be an innocent bystander in it all for a change. Craig, same question to yourself. You were obviously very active last night, pitchside, and I can only assume the verbals that were
it was one of those games. But I'm a wee bit different to most Clyde fans last night. I was really confident. I was really calm, really confident, and actually really looking forward to the game. I thought the boys on Saturday, before they kicked the ball against Dumbarton when they were doing the warm-up, they just seemed to be different. They seemed to be more relaxed. They looked as if the pressure was off them. I think they knew that these two games, we can go and they could win these two games. I think they could see it. But last night, at the end of the game, I had a little bit less of a voice left. I was very much enjoying myself for most of the game, apart from maybe 20 minutes after the start of the second half. But after that, it was just they were brilliant, and I think the main feeling at the end of when they blew the whistle at the end was pure relief. I think a lot of gratitude to every single one of the boys that have played any minutes and everything that they've done this season. To Danny, all the backroom staff, a lot of gratitude for keeping us in that league, because it took us so long to get out of League Two. It'd have been such a shame if we got into the playoffs and went down back into League Two so quickly. It would almost have made that less of an achievement, and I hope now that it can push us on to the potential playoffs next season with a proper league campaign with proper support back in there as well.
Yeah, I just want to echo that as well. All the boys that played for us this season are absolute heroes. Working their jobs, playing the ridiculous amount of games we had, and we've managed to to stay up. It's a remarkable achievement. Most people will look at it and say, right, we finished 8th, but look at the surrounding circumstances. We started off with less games to play, and then we had more games to play, and it was just crazy. So absolutely hats off to everyone.
Too right.
Yeah, that's something that I've got us down to touch upon later in the show, is that where do we put this season? Looking at it, yes, there's probably a touch of disappointment in a lot of the performances, but with context, do we put an element of an achievement behind getting to 8th place? But yeah, that's for a wee bit later. Just conscious, we've already got a few comments coming in. Martin Brun, one of our busier commenters. Even Martin. So every game's a big game for now on. And to be fair, if we played every game like that, you got to wonder, as you say, Graham, where was it at points earlier in the season? Who knows what we could have achieved? But I suppose hindsight is that wonderful thing. Neil Bazza, I'm not singing it, but yeah, very much just a case of we are staying up. And Graham Caldwell, St Mirren fan, thanks for joining us, Graham, and getting involved. Saying he's absolutely delighted for the guys, for us guys, and Danny Lennon for obvious reasons. Pleased that the 2 young players could play a small part, and hopefully that we can now kick on. Probably a subject for later on, but I would dare say that some of the younger boys played more than a small part.
Yep.
Boise.
Yeah, absolutely. Young Lewis Jameson, I want him back. Back. So, Graham, if you have any pull in St Mirren, get him back to us. No, he changed the game for me last night. I mean, as soon as I saw him coming on the pitch, I thought, right, here we go. You know, wee bit of energy, wee bit of direct. It almost reminds me of Scott Banks at times, you know. Just clearly a level above and just goes and does what he needs to do. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic from the 2 young St Mirren boys, and Josh Jack as well. Take him back in a heartbeat.
Yeah, Graham, what about yourself? Would you be disappointed to see Lewis Jameson back in a Clyde jersey next year?
Oh, far from it. I think what the boys is saying, a wee bit of energy, it's far from that. It's a lot of energy. The amount of energy that boy puts in is astonishing, and I totally agree with boys that he changed the game. We lost the goal, and we looked a wee bit flat. We looked a wee bit, lacking in ideas a wee bit. But he came on, he was direct, he forced the save, and McGlinchey's done really well to get the ball back across for the King. But I think just his general play since he's came in has been exceptional, and he really is one to watch for the future. And you see, Banksy getting some good plaudits down south, with Crystal Palace. But there's no reason why Lewis Jameson can't do the same kind of thing after another season at Clyde.
Yeah, absolutely. He's that caliber. I think, it's just you watch him and you see him, and it's just the boy's going to go far. He's going to do well.
But as you touched upon as well, boys, I mean, Josh Jack, again, the fragmented nature of the season means that we've never really got to see him in a prolonged, period of games. He's come on, he scored an absolute worldie, and then possible injury maybe curtailed his involvement at the end of the season. But you're looking at all the kind of things that Josh Jack, even some of the players that are not on loan, like Ross Cunningham, a team playing like that last night, a Josh Jack, a Lewis Jameson, they're ideally suited for that kind of attacking team. So that's where, they're young, they're not our players, but they can only develop, and even Otto at left back as well. I think he's been a revelation at left back. So these guys maybe are not ready to be playing week in, week out Premiership football. So why not cut your teeth in League One with ourselves under the tutelage of Danny?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you've mentioned Otto there. There's a comment saying he's one of the best loanees by far. I've got to echo that as well. I think he's looked fantastic and made that left back position his own. I'm sure you guys will agree. He's been great.
I mean, both these lads are 18 years old.
I know.
And I think when you think about that in context, just how easily they've taken to first team football, and given the pressures that we were under, absolute credit to themselves and their clubs. Absolutely. And they've done us a massive favour. Now,
and just touching, Paul, on the comment Graham made about Lewis Jameson and Josh Jack fitting into the attacking style we play, we'll probably touch on it more for the tactical side of it last night, but I think when we play the three up top with your two inside forwards like last night, I think they're the perfect complement for Goody, because Goody sometimes can't do it all on his own. You get that energy, you get that cutting in and playing it through the middle, playing it on the deck. I think that's how we beat teams. Said it before, I'll say it again. So yeah, just need to keep getting those types of players into the club and pushing on from there. But hopefully get the right recruitment in the summer and have a big push for, dare I say it, promotion playoffs this time.
Yeah, right. Hopefully, because I don't know if my heart can take going through what we went through this week. So we roll back 6 days, gents, and we go back to last Saturday where we are facing Dumbarton in what isn't so much a 6-pointer as in a we have to win it. Defeat was unthinkable. It was guaranteed playoff spot. Craig, coming to yourself, was it the Dumbarton game that you mentioned you had the utmost confidence, or was it just last night?
To be honest, both. I was very, very confident for Dumbarton. I had a feeling similar to what we had going into the two Annan games for the playoffs a couple of years back. I thought the wind was with us. I don't know why after the Falkirk defeat, but I just thought the wind was with us. And I think the guys just they do what you said earlier on, boys. They actually played football, and it wasn't so much as a cut and thrust as more a game. It was more a football game. Apart from that wee chance that they hit the post with in the first 5 or 6 minutes, which was a bit of a scare. Once we get that out of the way, I thought we looked really good against Dumbarton and a well-deserved victory. Dumbarton actually looked tired, I thought. That's why I was really surprised the result they got on Tuesday.
Coming to yourself, Boyce, the lineup I thought was almost a nod to experience. Mm-hmm. You saw the likes of Martin McNiff coming in, Jamie Bain, and to a lesser degree Mark Lamont. Obviously, he's played a lot of football despite his young years. Would you agree that maybe that was Danny's thinking, taking some of the pressure off the younger heads, going with some more tried and tested players, given the magnitude of the match?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest game of the season at that point, we've got to kind of have a wee nod to experience as well, just to calm things down if it's maybe not going our way. After they hit the post, I thought that it might be one of those days, but I think in one of Danny's maybe post-match press conferences, he quite rightly said we had a go at them, and that's something we've not really done against Dumbarton. We've maybe played the long ball and not suited our strengths, but
fell into the traps a lot of times, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely. They've got big boys at the back, and we spoke about it on the podcast before. It's not going to work playing crosses into the box. They're just going to deal with it all day, and that's what we saw against them earlier in the season. And Mark Lamont for me was absolutely phenomenal. He was a game changer against Dumbarton, playing through the middle, cutting passes. We saw it again last night, a ball down the right to Jamie Bain. Just the vision he's got is incredible. And I think going forward, he's really got to, I hope he gets a run in the team and keeps fit, because he's an absolute gem for us in the middle, in my opinion.
Totally agree.
Yeah,
totally agree.
Come to yourself. Were you happy enough with the lineup when you looked at it?
Yeah. Listen, I'll bow down to obviously Boyce being the tactical genius that he's lauded to be.
Thanks, Greg.
I think as well. You look at you go back to the Forfar game and Big Kev's come out. Okay, so maybe to an extent Danny's hand's been forced as to what he does, but as the guys have said, it's a game we had to win because we lost at Forfar. If we had won at Forfar, maybe the lineup might have been different, but we had to win the game. So. And I will agree with Boyce on this. There's one person that seems to be in the same kind of wavelength as Goody, as Mark Lamont. So he's been in and out the team, mainly used as a sub, okay, but there's absolutely no doubting his ability, okay, and his ability to see an eye for the pass. But the start of the game wasn't great. It was the one class that we managed to produce that actually. Let the shoulders go down, let us play a little bit more, because it was cagey up until that point. Dumbarton probably should have went ahead. Once we managed to get that terrific goal, then we settled down a little bit after that. So lineup again probably forced a wee bit with the situation, with us having to win, but also because of Big Kev's injury up at Forfar as well. So again, more symptomatic of the run of fixtures, the bare bones that we've been dealing with as a squad. You know, we had players on Saturday who were isolating, okay, or out because of COVID. So it was really, to some extent, it was just who's fit or who could play and who could run. So there'd be an element of both things, okay. But I think having to win the game, and because of Big Kevin's injury, then I suspect then that absolutely was the reason why there was the changes made, and it worked out well for us.
Yeah, and case in point probably would be the opening goal, which was an absolute stunner from Mark Lamont. Craig, decent football in the build-up as well.
Yep.
One of the main issues that we talked about previously with Dumbarton was perhaps an insistence on going longer and trying to hit maybe Goody over the top, which was never likely to work, really. We played the right game. Although Dumbarton held us out to potential arm's length, Matt Lamont just unleashes one.
Yep. Oh, it was a cracking hit, absolutely cracking hit, and I tell you what, he fair enjoyed it, didn't he? He fair enjoyed it. It was due it though. I mean, look at the crucial goal. Remember when we were up at Cove and he got the last minute winner? I said to my wee fella, that could be an unbelievable crucial 3 points to us come the end of the season. So the guy's done his bit for us again. So hopefully he stays and kicks on from it and proves his place is there for him, you know. Yeah. But no, it was a cracking finish, cracking strike.
I think there's a frustration within the Clyde fans because we can all see just how good Mark can be.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's just a consistency thing. It could be age as well as anything really, but yeah, it's just a bit of
sometimes you just wish he was playing Falkirk every week because he always turned up against them, didn't he? You know, he seemed to be a star man against the kind of top end teams, if you want to put it that way. But no, he's turned up these 2 games really well.
Yeah, he's got a great press as well. I think in the middle with Barry Cuddihy, they make a really good tandem with one going forward and one Barry Cuddihy. He's an absolute engine, so he'll defend for his life. So yeah, I thought they 2 were really good.
He's got a cracking soft touch as well for a soft pass or a wee inside, you know, or a wee kind of off the shoulder pass into a gap for somebody. You know, his vision's really good for that. His link up play is excellent.
Absolutely. So there's a few comments coming in about, you know, who we keep and who we maybe look to bring in. Not going to probably go into who we would keep because they're all heroes in my eyes, but maybe looking at, you know, what positions we would look to strengthen in the summer, and you know what type of player we would look for. What do you think, gents? Do we need to bolster midfield over defence over midfield? I
think you're going to lose some of the low knees anyway, aren't you? So that's you've instantly got a left back issue. So that's definitely the first area I would be looking at.
Yeah, I think crossed we can get O2 back. But
well, if we can, I think you could be looking right across the whole defence. I would, without naming names of who we would keep. Okay, there's maybe going to be a change there. Okay, but I think we need to with Tom Lang obviously going to be a big miss going to Wraith Rovers. So I know he's not been playing recently, but we wish him well at Wraith. But central defence, I would say, is definitely an area that I think we could be strengthening there as well, and getting maybe some of the likes of Tom Lang, who is not just a good defender but has a bit of ability on the ball. Maybe doesn't take as many chances as Tom, but but with that kind of skill level, obviously. But again, I think you're looking, if it's not Mark Lamont, the person that's going to be playing that killer pass inside to Goody. And a lot of comments coming through there as well about a certain player that we've had at one point in the past that might be looking to come back, and I think I would absolutely love to see him back.
Or curly hair
boy.
We're watching contract. Absolutely, come home.
Yeah,
Obviously, mate. might be some stiff competition with Queen's Park with his brother being there as well and them coming up into the league, but we'd certainly love to see him back.
Well, I didn't work when he went with his dad, so family ties. This is family now. Clyde is family.
Steer clear of your family. Come to your Clyde family, Ray, if you're watching. Graham, as well, what you were saying about the centre halves and Tom Lang, completely agree. I would like to see, I think Martin Bruns mentioned, don't mention Rumsby. I think everyone knows I want him back, obviously.
Absolutely.
Shout out to his 100th game last night as well, joining the 100 club.
Unsung hero for us.
Absolutely brilliant. But you've got that no-nonsense centre-half and then the centre-half that can, play it out and walk it out and maybe not take too many chances. I think there's a few kicking about in the league that I would maybe take. So we'll just need to see what happens. But yeah, definitely agree. Central defence is probably where I would look to strengthen, certainly as a priority, and then look towards midfield. But we'll just need to see what happens. A fun summer ahead, gents.
Yes, we're looking forward to it. Thankfully, one position that we don't seem to struggle with, or certainly at the moment, is in the goalkeeping department. Mm-hmm. We have an extremely able number one. But what we've also discovered, and in particular in the Dumbarton game, that in young David Wilson, we seem to have an unearthed little gem as well. For one moment in particular in this game, which I think pretty much was the pivotal moment in the game, where there was a free header and he makes a fantastic one-handed save. Not only that, he seemed to catch the ball with just one hand and drag it in. That very much could have went south from there. Graham?
Absolutely. I've been very impressed since the young boy came in and has went in goals instead of Mitch, because as we know that we've probably got the best goalkeeper in the league. Okay, so having that backup and having the reliability to know that he can come in and do a job will keep Mitch on his toes as well, because I think he's an outstanding talent in terms of a young goalkeeper who looks fearless. He doesn't seem overawed by anything that's put in front of him, I'm not sure what his contractual status is for next season. I don't know whether he's signed or not, I think
we've only got two players at present signed up.
Mitch and Goody. Right.
Mitch and Goody. It's a fairly decent foundation.
It's a good start.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing as well. He's come in. And as Boyce said earlier on, every single person that's played this season is a hero in my eyes because they've all contributed in some form or fashion. Okay, and that includes him, he's come in at a really, really crucial time, and it could have been, for somebody so young, it could have crumbled with the pressure at a time where you're playing as many games as you're playing. The pressure is so great. No, he's been outstanding, and I really, really hope not just as a backup, but as competition. For next season, I really hope he's there. That's certainly something I would absolutely encourage the management team to do what they can to keep him.
Yeah, as you mentioned, like the goalkeeping department obviously needs good competition to keep each other on their toes, and I think Wilson brings that. It might be good as well because Mitch probably fancies a wee shot at centre half after his tackle last night, but could put Wilson in goals. But it was an absolute belter. 6 foot in the air, the boy went.
That's what he did. Stonewall penalty and all
that. Hey Craig, behave yourself. The second killer goal again. The second killer goal from the Dumbarton match put it to bed. Dumbarton, well, up until Tuesday, they struggled for goals. We'll obviously touch upon that. It was a very, very good counter-attacking goal, Craig. You got to see it in all its glory live. Lovely pass from Monty through to Ali. Weighted pass through to Ross and finished with a ball.
Yeah. He did, and he's been due it. I've always thought Ross Cunningham, I think you as well, Boyce, was going to be a superstar for us when he signed. And sometimes you just think, come on, where is it? And it's those moments. That's the moments that it comes through.
Those wee flashes.
But it was a cracking finish. It was really well controlled. And he just slotted it, and then he seemed to enjoy it as well. Well, from my point of view, is he ran in behind where these nets are up at the side of the stands, and that was torture for me. I wish they would stop doing that. But no, it was really good. That just finished the game off, and you could see the Dumbarton heads going down at that point, and it was well worthy of the 1 and 3 points.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
great
we
to
did-
see Ross get a goal as well, because I think he works hard and he's just
does.
maybe been frustrated,
Yeah, he does.
and quite rightly getting a wee goal. So
Yep.
We did see the match out with relative ease thereafter. Unfortunately, we did lose another player, which, given the way the season has went, was far from welcome. Craig Cowie suffering a very nasty injury, broken cheekbone, I believe. Looking a bit worse for wear. One of the worst black eyes I think I've ever seen last night as he left the stadium. Hopefully, Craig, you're on the mend soon, and absolutely, again, he would be one of the players I would have back in a heartbeat. I think he's
definitely.
I think a fantastic talent, and one that we can really look to build a defence around as well. So we moved on to Tuesday. We did our part, and we put all the pressure back on Dumbarton. And this is where almost if a night could epitomise what it's like to be a Clyde fan, when Clyde aren't even involved in the match, it was this. Graham, were you like myself and you just sat staring at your phone all night, or swearing at it as it turned out to be? Oh, I think we've lost
we'll
Graham.
get the bleep machine on, Graham.
Yeah.
It's all expletives.
Yeah, right. We'll get Graham to reboot his Wi-Fi. Boyce, we'll come to yourself first. Yeah, Tuesday night. How torturous was it for yourself?
Yeah, it was different supporting Peterhead, got to say. It was difficult with, I think it was 10 minutes left. We were coasting, we were safe.
Yep.
But as Danny said, we'd rather do it ourselves rather than rely on people. So yeah, Dumbarton, scored their biggest goal tally of the season, I believe, to win it right at the death as well. So disappointing from our point of view, but I was looking at the positive side. We know what we have to do. The boys will be up for it, and we go again Thursday. That's the mindset. That's where we were, and look at us now, League One.
Do we have Graham back with us? No, unfortunately, he's still looking like a Crime Watch reconstruction.
I hope so.
Oh my goodness!
Oh no, wait. I think.
Just thinking about it.
Right, we'll crack on just now. Right. Craig, yeah, just quickly touch upon Tuesday night with yourself before we move on. I was
nervous with Tuesday night. I really was. Where I was calm for the other two games, I was nervous about that one for some reason. But it was just, you could see it written the way it was going to go. They went 1-0 up, and then for Peterhead to go 2-1 up with Derek Lyle of all people getting that goal, you think, there you are. And then 10 minutes to go. Unreal.
He always pops up with a goal, that Lyle, doesn't he?
Doesn't he? Aye. Just put it in the caught with another couple. But no, as Danny said, and you guys have said as well, we knew what we had to do. We wanted to go out and win that last game and make it our own. Earn the right to be in League One, and we've done that.
So we'll kick on. We'll go straight to last night, and again, another roller coaster of emotions, which only Clyde can put you through. We obviously have kind of done a brief overview of it, but let's dissect it. Let's dissect this 90 minutes and all of its painful glory.
Wonderful glory.
If that is
you didn't prep me for this. I just got over the mental comment.
Yeah,
I've just got my voice back.
It was brilliant, but it was horrific in equal measures. Clyde 2, East Fife 1. Now, this was obviously the match that should have been played last Tuesday. So our season technically should have been over and done with by Saturday at 5 p.m. We mentioned earlier the first 45 minutes. Was it the best 45 minutes of football that Clyde have put in this season, Boyce?
I think so. I mean, we came out within the first few minutes and had, I think, 2 chances in 5. Yeah. When does that happen? That's what I was saying earlier. The boys looked right up for it. Jamie Bain flying down the right hand side like a young Alan Hutton. Just fantastic play. Playing wee triangles in the middle, playing good football, creating chances. It's what you want to see, and a full season of that. Who knows where we could go? But certainly the key personnel again last night for me were Cunningham and Love as the two inside forwards cutting in, as we mentioned. King Goodwillie as always, and then Mark Lamont and Cudahy for me were up there with man of the match as well. But listen, I'm highlighting a few players, but all of the boys deserve a lot of plaudits for last night. Showed a lot of character, especially when we conceded the penalty. Not sure who conceded it. Let's move swiftly on from that. And then we got the winner, podcast sponsored McGlinchey, giving the wee assist to David Goodwillie. Can we say we called it, guys?
No.
Just like it. Nah.
I'm not having that. I'm not having that. I had nothing to do with us, boys. Graham, will we? Oh, no.
Oh, he's gone.
Can't take reliving it again. Overcome with emotion.
Tell you one thing last night that I found. Obviously, I've been awful fortunate to be very close to it and been in the stadium. But there was a team full of leaders on that pitch last night. Everybody was pulling an instruction, shouting instructions for everybody. There was so much focus right through the whole game from everybody. Mitch was conducting the back. Romsby was immense last night at that back. It was immense, and he's conducting the midfield as well. So then you've got Ali Love, who's given everything, and as I said, it was leaders all over the pitch, and it worked. It worked really well. That first 45 minutes was brilliant.
I think Ali Love maybe put one of his finest performances in a Clyde jersey last night, and he stood up in some big games for us over the years.
Yep.
But I would say none more so than last night, Boise.
Yeah, absolutely, and another important goal to add to the impressive tally. But as you mentioned, fantastic from Ali. He's just running rings around players basically, and get that boundless energy that you need in a winger. And obviously, he'd be one that I would, absolutely love to see back at the club next season.
He's got to stay. Got to stay.
Yeah, fan favourite. He loves
Absolutely.
the club. Let's hope we can make it happen. But yeah, absolutely fantastic performance from Ali. And I'll say it again. I think the inside forward play really worked with Goodwillie. It's quite rare that we saw Cunningham and Love switch sides, but I thought that really worked well last night with cutting in and playing the ball across, and having the runners from midfield come in to support. So really happy with that, and if we can keep that style and add to it, I think we'll be a force next season.
Lloyd Robertson was good last night as well. He played really well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Goes under the radar. He was excellent.
Does all the dirty work, but does it well.
Yep.
The Kevin Nicol role.
Absolutely. Aye. Without the card.
Very true.
Aye, yeah. Somewhat not so entertaining though.
And heart attack inducing at times when Kev goes in for a tackle, and that's the opposition. Graham, will we try just to see if you're up and running again? That's a no.
No, he's on 2G, right. I think, or 3G.
Yeah. We'll keep working and try and get Graham back in. So the opening goal, it took a wee while to come. We were, quite frankly, we were battering them for 41 minutes up until that point. Ross Cunningham was he seemed to have a personal vendetta against the side netting just past the left-hand post of the keeper. He could easily have got himself a hat-trick, Craig, in that first half.
Yeah, without a doubt. If they just had a wee bit of shooting boots on, they would have been comfortable come half time. But tell you what, it was how welcome was that goal at 40 minutes or whenever it was it went in. And Ali Love, once again, brilliant work for Goody as well to get it across. And Ali Love was the man right there at that moment. And again, I've said that they've enjoyed their goals this season, but he really enjoyed that one as well. Brilliant. And my next thought was, right, we've scored with 5 minutes to go before half time. Let's do the right thing and get us through to half time. And they did that. That was a wee concern, was don't concede before half time again, boys. So that was great. it topped off a really good half performance.
It was a great cross in as well from Ross Cunningham. The keeper hasn't covered himself in glory, but I mean, finally we get a break, quite frankly.
Yeah.
The speed of thought, Boise, from Goody, I don't know if it's maybe just went unnoticed, but when you see just how quickly he gets the ball, and his first thought could easily have been, I'm going for goal here, but he just cushions it lovely across to Livy and to strokes it home.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think the two goals were very similar, but I certainly don't think it's a coincidence that the players were where they were. That's just the desire to get into the box and support, which is exactly what we needed last night. So, yeah, absolutely. The players are there, ready to tap it in, whatever. And David Goodwillie, he's got the composure. There's a wee comment from Graham here saying, must be of great comfort to have a striker like David Goodwillie in League One, knowing you have a striker who'll pop up when a goal's required. And how many times have we seen that? Him and Ali Love.
Yep.
Just they're reliable in the big game scenarios. And yeah, need them back next season. Ali and David, Clyde legends from Andrew Rennie. And yeah, just absolute legends.
Yeah. And on Goody, I don't think it's even just so much a comfort. It almost feels a cheat code at times. It's like getting that cheat code for the Mega Drive where your players would max out in FIFA. It's just, at times he can just win you a game single-handedly. He didn't need to do that last night because we had 11 absolute warriors on the pitch, quite frankly. Unfortunately, we still are having some issues with Graham. As you can see, he's doing his own version of a State of Mind hokey cokey at the moment, but hopefully we'll try and get that sorted. In the meantime, just play peekaboo with him as we go. We managed. So here it comes again. We managed to get through to half time without conceding, thankfully. Yeah. And the second half, you thought, right, big kind of 5-10 minutes to see us through here. Graham, dare I come to you and ask you what your thoughts were in the first few minutes of the second half?
Come on, Graham. No. He wasn't sure. He's no one to comment.
No.
I think I heard Rumsby player of the season.
Right. We'll come to yourself, Craig, because I think Boise's just going to completely deny everything that happened on the 49th minute.
Is that the time?
I've got to say, I think it was a very, very soft penalty. I'm not saying that, but all right, maybe I'm saying it with biased eyes on it, but it was a soft penalty. I don't know if it was meant to be a pull, a push, or whatever, but we've seen how many penalties have we not been given, and then to get given one against you like that at that moment was just, you thought, oh, come on, you're having a laugh, but
yeah,
it's one of those.
I did think the ref had maybe a few soft moments in the second half. Personally, I think, when Rumsby made the tackle, I kind of thought it would be given, to be honest. But listen, they come and go. It's football, things happen. The important thing for me is that we bounced back, and there was a wee 5-minute jittery period after the goal, but after that we seemed to settle again, made the right subs, and went on to win it. So that's signing a good football team, isn't it?
Believe it or not, I had Scott Rumsby's granny Sheila on the phone to me today. So hello, Sheila, if you're watching.
Granny Rumsby.
Granny Rumsby.
She was very, very disappointed, will I put it, at that penalty that got given. She couldn't believe it, and she's awfully proud of him for getting 100 games under his belt as well. So, but
it's a great achievement. Great achievement from the big man.
Right. But,
I was going to ask
soft.
Craig.
Yeah.
Just with your unique perspective, being inside the stadium.
Yeah.
We kind of touched on the feeling, after the game. Before the game, did you kind of sense any, nervous energy, or were the boys, properly confident and, we can do this, we've got it?
Very similar to what I thought on Saturday. I thought they just looked comfortable, comfortable and confident. I don't think that they maybe were nervous. They maybe had a bit of nervous build up there, but I didn't see it at all. straight for the kick-off, as we spoke about, they went for it, and they just seemed to grow and grow and grow more in that first half. They had a jittery 10, 15 minutes at the start of the second half, but East Fife came out the blocks really well. They changed their team setup, and any Dumbarton fan watching, East Fife weren't lying down by any manner of means. They were going for it. They were trying to get their point or their 3 points if they could have got it. But on the day, I think we wanted it more. I think it showed.
No, there were a few questionable clearances when they could have passed it, but they decided to hoof it in a completely different direction. But we'll take it, as I was shouting at the TV. But listen, the winner, the David Goodwillie goal.
Yeah.
Scenes in all the households.
Every household, I think, with a red,
Paul,
white, and black.
How was yours?
It was. It was a bit of a blur, to be honest with you. And I'm going to hold my hands up. I actually had the in-plays on as well as the stream. I couldn't wait. I couldn't. The nerves get the better of me. So I'm going to hold my hands up and say that I knew 40 seconds ahead of the actual feed itself. So apologies, everyone. But it didn't take away the gloss when Goody nodded at home. It really didn't. It at least meant that they weren't lying to me.
Yeah, we get anyone watching get any funny stories about what the scenes were for celebrations for the winner. It'd be quite fun. I was for the game, I couldn't sit down. I was just standing in my living room, just pacing up and down, kicking every ball, head and everything. And I was on my hands and knees with that winner. Honestly, it was unreal.
I must admit, I'm shooting. Obviously, I'm shooting as the ball's going across and as it's went in. But he turns to run to celebrate, and then he turns and looks at the linesman. I thought, don't tell me he's offside. And then the celebrations kind of came in as a goal's definitely given, and he ran towards where the nucleus of the Clyde fans would have been. He's went to where the fans would have and should have been, and I thought that was quality. All right, he's running away from where I am for getting a decent shot, but he's running towards where the heart of the club is, and I thought it was I don't know if it was a subconscious thing or a conscious thing, but it was a nice touch.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got a few comments on celebration. Lynn's saying that she was crying when that winner went in. Paul, I imagine she was close to it, to be fair.
She was close to it. You might just see my face, to be fair.
Probably that, yeah. Martin spat his tea out. No, quite right, and a few change of underwear, but
Yeah, Brian, unfortunately we can't read that out word for word, but yeah, I don't imagine there was you were the only one in that particular camp.
Martin's tried shouting and drinking at the same time. That's an interesting. Maybe advise against that for next time, Martin. But
Graham, are we up and running?
Oh,
you tell me.
Yay, here we go.
Oh, he's back.
In. Right, it's the end of the podcast though, mate, so thanks for joining us. We're just, obviously, I'm not sure how much you've missed or whatnot, but we're just kind of breaking down, obviously, last night's proceedings. What were the scenes in the Murray household when, in fact, you were at, were you at the game, did you say? Or you...
No, I'm not allowed to go to the games.
Right, sorry.
That's another rumour that will get started. No, no, my dad was round watching the game.
Sorry.
Murrays were together and having a hug after the game, but I can't believe this Wi-Fi is gone considering I work for Sky. But anyway,
you need to start selling some stuff to yourself, mate.
Well. If anybody's, never mind. But no, it was. There was loud shouts. My wife, bless her, is working in the kitchen just now and doing a lot of overtime just now to pay for my daughter's wedding next year. So. I don't know whether she jumped out her skin as much as we did, at the dog when we scored both the goals. But again, I kind of was listening to what you guys were saying, even though I was kind of like a statue. It was the best performance of the season that I'd seen. If we could combine the first half against East Fife with the second half against Partick Thistle and the first game of the season, I think we've got a complete performance. And yeah, it was relief, but I mean, I think we've got to maybe just hope and take a step back and think we're never going to have a season with all the different caveats involved ever again. me and my dad could be back, serving drinks to the opposing directors, and well, maybe some of them I won't be, but back at the grounds, doing what we're supposed to be doing, shouting at the referees, berating opposing players, because the players will get a lift from that, but we'll get a lift from that as well. It's a season like no other. So any criticism about where we finished, how we've done, how we've been ran, anything, anybody's performance, it really isn't a level playing field. As I think as it was brought up earlier on, the amount of games we've played in the space of time that we did, it's not comparable. You can't judge that based on the fact that we're part-time. We get guys, getting back from Peterhead at 3 o'clock in the morning, getting up for a 6 o'clock shift. It's nonsense in the fact that, we can't really judge how good a season or a bad a season this has been. We just need to be thankful that we've got by.
Yeah.
And hope that, next season is nothing like it in terms of whether we can get fans back in there, and then have a look and see whether, what kind of, League One team we're going to be.
I agree. I think
we'll lose, inevitably some of the heroes that have absolutely sweated blood and tears for us in the past few weeks will leave, but there won't be one player, in my opinion, that leaves without the utmost gratitude from all the Clyde fans.
Yeah, Graham, we are struggling a wee bit with your audio again, unfortunately.
And recently,
it's
I don't know
Graham, I think we're losing you again.
We'll see what the summer brings, okay, and hopefully there'll be some excitement, some signings.
Yeah, there we go. I was trying to.
I'd like to echo Graham's sentiments there. I think that we will, have a hopefully good summer with the recruitment.
Yeah.
And all the boys are absolute heroes. And they've put an absolute shift in for the club over the year.
Definitely.
And just we move on to next season. So there's a few comments. Scoops has joined us. Good evening, Scoops. How are we doing? How did you enjoy the game last night, bud? A few other comments. Craig has kept the side up with shouting at the refs. Well done, Craig. Dave Jameson, absolutely.
It's a good thing or not, but I struggled at the end of the game last night. As you boys will testify, I was sounding like a poor man's Barry White.
I was disappointed it wasn't like that now.
But... Well, no, I'm quite glad. It took most of the day to get it back properly.
We've all recovered. Martin brings up a good point, and it's something that I really hope we look at keeping. Us Exiles want to keep the PPV. I think it's a great shout to keep it. I think it's a positive to come out of this whole thing. All the lower league clubs haven't kind of had that before. It's just been highlight packages, but I really think the pay-per-view is great for both sides. Everyone goes on holidays, they maybe want to watch the football, and I'm not going to explain, people want to watch PPV, where am I going with this? But I think it would be a good idea.
Definitely.
Right, dare I ask Graham, because this is vastly becoming the show, isn't it? What?
Okay, kids, it's Graham in the room.
So we'll move to a kind of, for the last 10 minutes, just looking back. Obviously, we got over the line last night, and it did feel a wee bit like that. It was getting over the line. It was getting the job done.
Yep.
There was a lot throughout the season, performance-wise, there were issues. Boise, coming to yourself. It's a season that we'll never forget, but probably few will really want to remember at the same time.
Yeah, listen, there's a comment from Mark Stewart saying for every game like last night, there was 4 games like 5-0 versus Airdrie. It was one of those seasons, you know. I think the circumstances for me definitely played a major factor, you know. The fact that we didn't really have so much of a settled squad because there was a lot of lone players in, you know, due to the issues that we were having around the world. And yeah, I think it's one that we'll always remember, but you know, certainly not for any footballing reasons. It will be for the extra circumstances. But when I'm remembering it, I'll be like, mind that time Clyde had a horrible schedule and we managed to stay up.
I know. Every one of them pulled
So I'll
out
be
the
looking
bag.
at it.
It's one of those seasons as well where there's players that have left or not been available throughout. You know, Chrissy Johnson obviously had to leave. Big Chrissy Norway, Sverston, back home with his injuries, and then you bring in players like Tom Lang, who it's a beauty of a head injury and then a knee injury, and then you've got Craig Howie, breaks his jaw or breaks his cheek. You know, it's been an unbelievably crazy situation for the whole season. Not just the COVID thing, the COVID thing obviously, but the start, the stop, the restart, the loans, the players leaving, the players coming back, the players getting injured. It's been in the schedule. It's been unbelievable, unprecedented, Paul.
Oh, what?
Glad it's not me saying it this time.
I'm going to need to get some new co-hosts because I'm getting fed up of you lot, I tell you. We probably should have seen the way the season was likely to pan out, given that our second match of the season was rained off. And if ever there was an indication for what was likely always to be maybe a stop-start with COVID, etc., that was it, really.
How long ago does that feel?
Oh, an eternity ago,
Doesn't
but I mean, it was, 7 months? 7, 8 months?
Crazy.
It was just, I'm not saying the word. It was mad. It was a mad season.
Yeah.
Different season.
Different. Yeah. So Martin's got an interesting comment. We might have touched on it in a previous podcast, but probably one that would be good for discussion. Would the fact that we played so many games not have helped us play more like the full-time players? Craig, come to you on that one. What do you think?
I don't know. I think it does bring a bit of continuity if you had the opportunity for continuity, but we didn't. We had so many players that were either in or out or working or isolating or injured. You know, you never had the opportunity to have a normal starting 11 for like 2 or 3 or 4 games in a row. It wasn't possible. You know, and Danny had to shuffle the pack every time just to keep the guys as fresh as he possibly could get.
Keep them upright, almost at times. Just keep them upright.
I mean, we're all saying the effort that the players have put in, but the effort that Danny and Murray and all the backroom staff have put in as well has been incredible this season. You know,
I think that's, you know. Sorry, Craig. I think that's something that, you know, goes unsung. You know, the amount of motivation they'll have had to give those players is off the charts this season, especially when we were, what was it, four games behind the rest of them at one point?
I think three to the teams immediately above us. So when we restarted in March, we had played 8 games and we were sitting in 10th position.
That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy, but absolutely shows that we've got a fantastic management team and, you know, they've done an amazing job.
Was it Martin McNiff who mentioned that the players were looking at it in almost a siege mentality?
Yep.
Where upon the restart, we had it all to do. Let's not be about the bush, really. We had it all to do. We were bottom. We hadn't obviously played as many games, but ultimately we still hadn't won many games. With that, we were then faced with at least 14 league games. We also then decided to go on a cup run, which just, you know, helped matters greatly. But at least, the finances, it helped. And we ultimately played 17 games in 49 days, I believe the final count was. That would have been in a shorter time frame hadn't the issue with the East Fife game had taken place. So it would have, was Graham again, just popping in to say hi. It would have been a game every 2.44 days or something like that. last night's match meant it was just a whopping and less exhausting 2.8 days per game that we played.
Someone's worked on stats this week, Paul.
I have, and I totally didn't rip them off from elsewhere.
Work goes into this show, guys.
I spend my nights well, don't I? It was an incredible effort, and whatever deficiencies people may believe that the squad have, and that they're right to their own opinion on that. Mm-hmm. We all have our own opinions on where we need to improve, but the one thing that this squad did not need to improve on is sheer desire and will to get the job done. Nobody can question that in my mind, Craig, and you've pretty much echoed similar thoughts earlier. They ran to the ground, themselves to the ground for us.
Yep, yeah, they were on their knees. I think you heard Danny last night after the game saying that he didn't really believe it. Another 4 games in us because the boys gave everything, absolutely everything they got. They were on their knees, and they deserved to not go down. They deserved to not be in those playoffs, and they deserved their League One status because they're League One players, if not better. But no, they and see when you look at the table, we won what, 8 games. Falkirk won 9. We only won 1 game less than Falkirk. If we said that at the start of the season...
Falkirk's a different story, Craig.
I know, but, if we said that at the start of the season, we'll win 1 game less than Falkirk, well, you'll think you're finishing second.
Yeah.
Really. But, no, the whole squad, the team, the backroom staff, the medics, Danny and Alan, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. Lynn makes a good point as well. She's saying Alana and Ian, the fitness and the health team have been tremendous, keeping everyone, running. So yeah, big shout out to everyone. Just quickly, there has been a few comments on League One next season, and with Queen's Park coming up and Alloa coming down, it's looking like quite a tasty league. From the playoffs, who would you like to kind of join us in the armchair position we've got just now, watching everything unfold?
That's going on the basis that Dumbarton don't hold out as well. Now Dumbarton are a very tough nut to crack.
Yep, good luck to Dumbarton as well.
We of all teams know that. Jim Duffy being an ex-Clyde manager, we know what Jim can do, and they are going to be a tough nut to crack. I personally would not be surprised to see Dumbarton stay up.
Yep.
They do struggle with goals, but they don't tend to be out of games
they can
either.
Get a result.
So it will be very interesting. I think the playoffs at the top end, very interesting as well. Don't know an awful lot about Morton, who finished second bottom. But obviously in Cove Airdrie, who I think have pretty much just kind of snuck under the radar. They've always been there or thereabouts. Quite hot and cold team. Unfortunately, when they played us, they were bloody boiling. And we weren't. So yeah, I'm very intrigued. Montrose, I don't know. I can see Montrose doing it.
They're doing well. For me, I think Airdrie have got a real good shot at going up. On a personal level, I would just selfishly like an away day at Morton because I think it's a great atmosphere. But it's going to be great to watch. No matter what.
It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight if we can make good acquisitions in the summer and get off to a half decent start and find that little bit of consistency. We've got to look towards playoffs anyway.
Yeah, I think that should be the aim anyway, because in a league like League One, while the teams around, we've seen in previous seasons anyone can beat everyone.
Yep.
And it would be nice to have a full season in League One where we can actually watch the entire season and be there
in the stands. Too right.
Absolutely, I'd like to take that off. Mark Stewart saying you can criticise the quality of the players, but one thing you can't criticise is commitment and effort put in. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, sir. Now, very conscious of time here. We do have a couple of announcements, and the first one is a very, very good one, and we've had it confirmed just before we went live tonight. To make this announcement, I'm going to pass over to Mr. Black. Craig, you want to do the honours, sir?
Yeah, so we're delighted after a little bit of WhatsApp chat and Instagram chat. Next Friday, we're being joined by the king himself, Mr. Goodwill. He's going to come on and have a chat with us. So can't wait for that.
Yeah, make sure your diaries are free, Clyde fans, because yes, as Craig says, we do have our number 9, David Goodwill, joining us. and it wasn't actually us pestering him until he gave in. He actually reached out to Craig and said, when am I getting on this podcast? So he's very much in. We want every Clyde fan to ask him questions, let him know. He knows what, obviously, he means to us as a fan base and what he has done for the club. It's going to be great. It will be our last live show, probably for a few weeks. We do have another show lined up, which will be coming out on the 21st of May. We recorded today with Clyde Hall of Famer. Dare I say, David Goodwillie will likely end up there one day. But for the time being, we did record this morning with Mr. Pat Nevin, who is releasing a book called The Accidental Footballer, which I've got my copy of here, read it.
We're professional now. Look at this.
Look at this, I know. Doing unsponsored advertising. I have to say, it was a fantastic chat with Pat. He was brilliant, and I really, really look forward to releasing the episode on the 21st. Thereafter, we'll probably be looking to do a couple of specials. If next week isn't enough for you, getting David Goodwillie on, we'll try and get some guests and then build up again, looking into the new season and pre-season with the League Cup sometime in July.
Yeah.
So
maybe a wee transfer special as well, if there's any.
Yeah, transfer special. We've got a couple of ideas, and they'll be interactive, looking at other elements of the club, more off-field side of things as well. Hopefully we can get some interaction, maybe even with board Q&A and all that kind of stuff, because we want to open it up, not just on football chat. That's the fundamentals of a football club, but there are other aspects that the wider fan base want to hear about, and hopefully we can get that over the line for you. So, gentlemen, no football. I'm so relieved to say that. I never thought I would be, but it's going to be great to not be stressed for a weekend.
Absolutely.
Enjoy your weekend.
Just before we head off, Paul, sorry, I was going to say we did it, guys. We stayed up, and I cannot wait to get back in the stands with all the Clyde fans and just get back together and support everyone. So that will hopefully be coming very soon. So see you all very soon.
Yeah. And on that note, unfortunately, Graham can't join us to wave bye stignatedly, so I'll do my own version of it for him. And until next time, we will see you next week. Remember, he wears number 9 and scores all the time. Mr. David Goodwillie is joining us live 7 p.m. next Friday. So until then, come on the bully.